What's the most insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced?
When I was in college, I had a friend whose family was actually very wealthy. She was super sweet. She didn't act better than any of us, but she definitely had that wealthy person mindset. So, we were talking about how financial aid had been screwed up and I lost all my loans and scholarships. And so she asked why I didn't get my parents to do anything about it. And I said, I can't afford that. My parents don't make enough money. This girl literally grabs her cell phone, calls her dad, and says, hey, do you think you could drop a couple grand in order to pay off my friend's tuition this semester? I got my tuition, and I graduated in the same semester.
When I started my career, I was the assistant to a top producing real estate agent in LA, and one of our clients had no budget. She's in her 20s, had no budget. She could not look at any of the homes that her sister had already seen, who just bought a house for $95 million, because if her sister passed on it, it wasn't good enough for her. So one of the houses we walk into, 66,000 square feet under construction. It's about half completed. We are in the 4,000 square foot master, and the developer is showing us that the hallways, there are hallways parallel to those. And he said those hallways parallel, the smaller ones, that's for the staff so that you never have to see them as they move about the home. And she said, that's perfect, because I hate making eye contact with the staff. And I just looked over and I said, isn't that amazing? I got in the car and felt sick.
I was taken on a first date to Paris in France, which is an 8-hour flight from where I live. So we got first class tickets there. And the hotel we stayed at was super expensive. Didn't know it at the time, had to Google it later, and had to pick up my jaw off the floor.
Okay, part 2 of this billionaire's party that I attended that I had to sign an NDA for, but it was forever ago, so here we go. Okay, so they had a money machine there. I never thought I would find myself in a money machine, but I'm here to tell you I learned how to get all the money. So if you ever find yourself in a money machine, this is what you do. I have to get up to show you. Okay, usually when you see people in a money machine, they're grabbing, right? They're stuffing. No. You go to the corner of the money machine. Here's the corner. You press your body against the corner and you put your arms here and you lean back and money circulates and falls and it just starts piling. You're welcome.
Once I went to the movies with a friend, and he actually bought candy from the concession stand instead of just sneaking it in like a normal person.
I have so many of these. I mean, other than forcing the poor into a lifetime of perpetual poverty. My father was working for a company, and the CEO of the company was fucking incredibly rich. He had his own private jet, and one day my dad asked me to drop him off at the airport. I didn't know this was a private airport, so you just drive your fucking car onto the fucking tarmac and drop motherfuckers off. And I was working for my dad's company at the time. And I get out and I go help my dad out with his luggage in the back of the car. And the CEO comes up and he's like, oh, how's it going, Richard? What are you up to? I was like, just fucking to go work for you, bro. And he's like, hey, have you ever been to Seattle? I was like, nah, bro, I've never been to Seattle. I always wanted to go. And he's like, well, why don't you just take the day off work and like get in the fucking plane? I was like, this is some big dick energy this man is exuding right now. I mean, I'm not an idiot. Of course, I obviously said yes. And my direct boss calls me while I'm on the plane and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm on a fucking private jet, bro. I'm not coming in today.
When I was about 13, I did a paper round. And I used to deliver papers to the really, really fancy houses in the area. And I grew up on a council estate. So anything that didn't have a security door was fancy to me. Anyway, I pull up to this one house, massive house. And as I get to the door, I see that the door is slightly open. So I think to myself, okay, be nice, go in, leave the paper on the side. And as I do that, I see that the owners have actually left me a tip. They must have left me, it was probably around £250. But that completely blew me out of the water. For a 50p newspaper, that completely blew me out of the water. That is something that I will never, ever forget. Yeah. I didn't think much of the wallet they left it in though.
If you live in Austin, you'll understand my story. So I met this guy through a mutual friend, and we were talking about what we did over the weekend, and I told him that I went to Mozart's. So Mozart's is this really popular, super cute, kind of like outdoor coffee shop, and it's right on the lake, and you have like an amazing view of the water. So I told him that I went, and he was like, oh yeah, I love Mozart's. I paddleboard there from my house. Houses in that area cost a fortune, and this man owns a house there and owns a paddleboard, and he hops on the paddleboard and paddleboards over to Mozart's.
So I work in luxury travel, and let me tell you, I had a client once who was traveling from New York City to London, staying in a 5-star luxury hotel, but he could not sleep on any other mattress but his own. So I called the hotel. I told them we would be shipping a mattress and also pillows, blankets, sheets, towels, robes, and even a chair for the hotel to replace their own stuff at a 5-star hotel in a luxury room for a 3-day stay. And according to the hotel, this is not even an unusual request, and they get it all the time.
One time I was late for boating and my friend really wanted me there, so they sent a jet ski to pick me up. Oh, I have receipts. So yeah, that's the boat. And this is me drinking coffee on the jet ski.
So it was a Friday evening, pre-COVID. Me and a group of my friends were out at a bar. And we met another group of friends who were out at the bar. And we were all vibing, having a great evening, just having a fantastic time. And they asked us, at the end of the night, where did we park? We could all walk to our cars together. We weren't concerned about safety for multiple reasons, but that's not the point of the story. Turns out we were parked just a couple blocks down the street from them. So we walked with them to their cars, and me and my friends noticed they're parked in a fining zone. Like somewhere that they can't park between these hours and these hours. They will get a ticket. And sure enough, they had a ticket on the window of their car. And I was like, oh, dang, that really sucks. And I was like, hey, there's usually parking down this street. You don't have to get fined for it. And one of these girls looked me dead ass in the face. And she says, it's not a big deal. It only costs $40 to park here. Honey, what?
So I needed a letter of recommendation from one of my professors, right? And his office was on the 6th floor. I was holding the elevator open for this one guy that came in. Went by the name of Thomas, right? Me and Thomas were having a good conversation about fucking hats. And he had an unopened brand new iPhone. I was like, that's a cool phone. He's like, yeah, no big deal. We get up to the 6th floor, right? Him, without even fucking flinching, not even changing conversation, unwraps the iPhone and throws it off of the 6th fucking floor. I was so speechless. I just said, why, Thomas? And how? And why? How would you do that? Why? You know what I'm saying? And he went, don't worry, Jordan. I got 3 more. Nice to meet you. No, not what? What if it hits someone? And who are you? Fucking Batman? And what college do we go to? I don't trust you.
I used to work night security for a small harbor. Part of my job was to collect the moorage fees for boats that would come in late at night. So one night, a 120-foot yacht comes in. To put it in perspective, the biggest boats in our harbor were about 75 to 80-foot fishing boats. Once this guy found a suitable place to dock his boat, I met him on the dock, helped him tie up, and explained to him it would be about $40 for the night. The man argued with me that $40 was too much. He was also very unhappy to find out we didn't have a facility that could lift his Bentley off the yacht so he could drive around. This man threw the same kind of tantrum you would expect for a 12-year-old not being able to play Fortnite. I had the last laugh, though. See, he came into our harbor on a high tide. It was 3 days before we had a high enough tide for him to get his boat out of the harbor. I wonder if he sat in his Bentley and just pretended to drive.
My client didn't want any neighbors ever, so when he bought his house, he also bought the house next to him, and then he bought the lot next to him so that nobody could ever move in.
I was a server for a wedding where an old guy gave me $1,500 to give him wine. I was walking around refilling wine glasses and this old guy grabbed me by the arm and was like, hey, keep 'em coming. Slipped me a $100 bill. I assume this is like a salary thing where I'm going to kind of hover around him and he's just going to be having a good time. 5 minutes later, he flags me down. I come over, pour him some wine, another $100. Sir, thank you so much. I can't take this. So you're not going to be my guy? No, I'll be your guy. You don't have, this is so appreciated. This is too much. Who the fuck turns down $100? Not me? Keep 'em coming then. Yes, sir, please don't hurt me. Concerned after $500 that this might be elderly abuse, I asked his wife what was going on. She just kind of laughed at me and went, "Oh, you're sweet."